What is up, YouTube? C here, and once again I'm back with another video, and it'll be for this week's UFC picks. Aljo Vs Sterling versus Yusuf Zalal card, and these will be my picks. So let's get on to it. So for the first fight, we got Talita Alenka, I think I spelled her name wrong, versus Julia Polestri. Now Talita, she has great grappling, especially with her wrestling. Her wrestling's pretty good. Striking, it's there, but it's pretty alright. She is 3-1 in her UFC career, so decent record. Now Julia, great high volume striker, grappling. It is hit or miss. Sometimes she'll dominate, other times she won't. She's a bit of a win-lose fighter though. And for this fight, I'm picking Julia because now here's the reason why I'm picking Julia to win this fight. It's due to her high striking, and I think her high striking will help her out in this fight. Now look, while her grappling may be below Talita's level, looking at Julia's losses, she's gotten outstruck by Josephine, which I just don't see Talita doing. And in her loss to Lupi went 5-11 on her takedown. So now for this next fight, we got Max Griffin versus Victor Valenzuela. Now this is a short notice debut for Victor Valenzuela, so let me just start that off. Now Max Griffin, he has alright striking. Striking is alright. Grappling, meh. He is 1-3 in his last 4, and he's currently on a 2-5 lose streak. Now Victor, like I said, short notice debut. He is great all around, with the striking, and he does have decent jiu-jitsu. Now, I'm picking Victor to win this actually, because even though this is short notice, I could see Victor keeping this on the feet, mixing in some grappling. And Max is in the twilight of his career, and is being fed to what some would see as a somewhat young up-and-comer fighter. So I do think Victor wins this by UD. Now for the next fight, we got Francis Marshall versus Lucas Brennan. And Francis Marshall, he's got great wrestling and jiu-jitsu, but he does make his fights way too fucking close, and is very inconsistent due to that. Now striking is questionable, but he does have power. Now Lucas, this is a UFC debut. He comes from Bellator. He's a Bellator fighter. I mean, he's got crazy grappling, and he really seems to love the RNC for some reason. I don't know why, but his striking is pretty questionable as well. But I do have Lucas winning this because both these guys are young up-and-comers, and this fight has potential to either be the best display of grappling we've seen in a while, like one of Ray Saruya's fights, on that level, or the worst display grappling we'll ever see. Or the third option, the grappling just cancels out and this turns into a striking matchup, which I just don't see happening, but I'm just throwing out some bullshit. But I do think Lucas has the better grappling over Francis, so I do have Lucas winning this in the first or second round via sub. Now for the next fight, we got Jafel Filo versus Cody Durden. I believe Jafel was supposed to fight someone else, but that got canceled. Now Jafel, he has fantastic jiu-jitsu. His jiu-jitsu is pretty good. He can get the fight down to the mat, so he got the wrestling. And he also seems to really like the RNC, but his striking, it's pretty meh. Now Cody Durden, he is 1-6 in his last 7, so he's not doing too hot, and on a 4-5 losing streak. So yeah, he's basically on the verge of getting cut. He had grappling, but his grappling has been going downhill in his past few performances, and his striking is pretty meh. So yeah, I have Jafel winning this fight. Jafel, he literally wins this however he wants to. I can see him getting Cody down to the mat, subbing him. That's really all I can see him winning this. So Jafel, I think he'll win second round sub. Now for the next fight, this is crazy. Marlon Silva versus Michelle Montague. It is crazy how over 2 years ago, in January 2024, she fought for the vacant bantamweight title and is now on a 2-5 losing streak. She had good grappling too, her grappling was pretty good, but it's been going downhill, and her striking is pretty Now Michelle, she is great all around grappling. She's finished 6 of her 7 wins, 6 via sub, and she also seems to really love the RNC, which is a really weird trend I see with some of these fighters. And her striking is alright, but I do have Michelle winning this. I can see this being a fight where Myra is being fed to an up-and-comer. I don't see but I don't see Michelle subbing Myra, despite Myra's recent performances. So I think Michelle, she wins this via UD. Yeah, I got nothing to say for this, bro. Sidjuke, he's probably gonna go to jail again after beating some poor woman. This is the battle to not get cut by the UFC, and Demas probably gonna get arrested. I didn't even write a result for this. I don't know. Yeah, I just picked Sidjuke to win this because I don't know. It seems like if you beat up a woman, you're really good UFC fighter or some shit. I don't know. I guess UD for Sidjuke Dumas. And now for the next fight, we got Adolfo Vieira versus Eric McConaughey. Now, Adolfo Vieira, he has phenomenal jiu-jitsu, but he is a one-trick pony due to it. Like, some fights he'll use striking, other fights he really won't. Eric McConaughey, he is decent all around. He is 1-2 in his UFC run, arguably 0-3. And look, while I do have Adolfo winning this, because while he may be 6-4, those losses have been to guys like Bo Nickel, Chris Curtis, Fluffy, and I forgot who the other one was, but can't think of it at the top of my head. Now, Eric, he's arguably 0-3. And look, Susakayev, Ruziboyev, they aren't bad fighters, but getting a split decision win against Cody Brundage, that's a bad look. That is a very bad look. And I just added an extra note, this is the battle of the unks. These guys are old as shit. I think both these guys are over 35 years old. Now, I do have Adolfo winning this in the second or third round sub. Not too hard to say. Now for this next fight, we got Marcus Buchecha versus Ryan Spann. Marcus Buchecha, phenomenal grappling, striking is meh. Ryan Spann, UFC vet, came from the Contender Series. He's got a good submission game, surprisingly so. And really likes the guillotine, but his striking is meh, and he's a bit shitty. But I do have Ryan Spann winning this because both these guys are getting up there in age, but because this is heavyweight, it kind of doesn't matter. I think Marcus' age, fighting-wise, is going to help him out here, because he hasn't been fighting as long as Ryan Spann has. But even though his grappling is better than Ryan's, Ryan has been in the MMA game longer, so it's kind of like, it can help out, but it really can't. And striking, I do think maybe striking wise Ryan has somewhat better striking. So I do have Ryan win this via UD. Now we got Montel Jackson versus Ronnie Barcelos. And Montel Jackson, he's got great striking, especially his boxing. Now, he was at one point on a 6-5 winning streak, but he did lose to Figgy, and honestly, that's not. And it was a split decision loss, and so I mean, it's not really bad. I mean, and his grappling, it is actually kind of good, especially his wrestling and takedown defense. He can get it down. He can get it down to the mat. He can also defend takedowns. And Ronnie Barcelos, he's a UFC vet, bit of a journeyman, and pretty much everybody knows about him because he got really well known for stopping the hype train with Payne Talbot. He is on a 4-5 winning streak, which is not bad. There's guys like Cody Garbrandt he's beaten, and that's really all I can name of. So it's kind of a fluky win streak. His striking, it's alright. His grappling is good, especially with his wrestling. He showed that off in the Payne Talbot fight. He does also have some jiu-jitsu, so it's something to keep in mind. But I do have Montel Jackson winning this because despite the hype train that's somewhat behind Ronnie with his 4-5 win streak, when you look deeper, some of these guys were really young or decently old. And I mean, going to a decision with guys like Cody Garbrandt, who got subbed by Figgy, isn't a good look. Now Figgy, he is a phenomenal fighter. I mean, Figgy's got fantastic jiu-jitsu, but still, going to a decision with Cody Garbrandt, it's not a good look. I will say, I believe Montel can keep this fight competitive, especially with his good boxing and decent grappling, with his wrestling being somewhat solid and his takedown defense being there. So I do have Montel Jackson winning this via UD. Now for the next fight, Davey Grant versus Adrian Luna Martinetti. Now Davey Grant, his striking is quite good. His grappling is questionable. It's basically a hit and miss grappler. He can get taken down by a decent grappler, so that's what I mean by it. He is old as hell though. He's like 40 years old. Now Adrian, he had a great fight with Mark Volognin, who last week had a really awesome fight, crazy fight, shit ton of rolling thunders, and he showed off what he can, that he has good all-around striking in that fight with Mark Loden. And he also showed off his wrestling and has good jiu-jitsu. He also loves the RNC. I don't know what it is with these people loving the rear naked choke. Are these guys just fighting bums or something? But anyways, I do have Adrian winning this because, look, this Davey, despite his age, is still a good fighter despite him being 40 years old. But Davey's going to have to match the pace of someone who is not only good all around, but literally a whole decade younger. Adrian is 30 years old. That is a 10-year. These guys are slowly separated by a decade. And how I see Adrian winning this, I can see him pressuring Davey in this fight and keeping him against the fence, using the takedown threat, maybe setting up his striking, but I don't think he'll get a finish, so I have Adrian winning via UD. Now, Rafa Garcia versus Alexander Hernandez. This fight has potential to actually be pretty good, I can't lie. Now, Rafa, he's got good grappling, especially in regards to his jiu-jitsu. He does have a decent takedown threat, but striking, it is iffy. Now, Alexander Hernandez, he's on a 4-5 winning streak. His grappling is actually pretty solid. And although his grappling can be canceled out depending on his opponent, he does have decent takedown defense as of recently, and his boxing is also pretty good. He's got power as well in his hands. And with that said, I do have Alex winning this via UD. Because look, I'd say that Alex wins. I do have Alex winning this one due to his overall well-rounded game. And Alex is more aggressive. He's willing to chase for the finish, and that is another reason why I have him winning this. But I don't think he'll finish Rafa, so I do have him winning this via UD. Now, Norma Dumont versus Jocelyn Edwards. Now, Norma, her striking is good. I mean, if y'all seen that fight with Irene Aldana, she absolutely busted her up, man. She whooped her ass. Her striking is very good. Her grappling can be good too, though in her last bout, she did get out-grappled quite a bit and controlled. Now, Jocelyn Edwards, she's solid as well, man. She's on a 4-5 winning streak with all of them being finishes. 2 submissions, 2 finishes by striking. She's got great striking, great grappling as of now. Even though she did start off her career being pretty well, hit or miss. Now, as for why I'm winning this, I do have Jocelyn Edwards winning this. Because, first of all, this fight does actually have potential to be good. But it is WMMA, so do not get your hopes up at all. There's a chance this fight will be bad. But with Jocelyn's momentum, I want to take her over Norma, since at WMMA, the women's fighters are really passive. But in some fights, you'll see women just shadowboxing at range, man, and doing nothing. But girl like Jocelyn being this aggressive, I mean, I like it, man. I like it. And I think Norma isn't going to be ready to go get someone that is this aggressive but also well-rounded, so I do have Jocelyn Edwards winning this via UD. And now, for the final fight, we got Aljamain Sterling versus Yusuf Zalal, the main event. And Aljo, he has phenomenal wrestling. He comes from, I forgot which one it was, I think it was Division 2 or Division 3 wrestling, but really good wrestling background. His striking is meh, it's pretty, I think it's, even as of now, it's still pretty meh. But there are some cons to his game. He is very passive when in dominant position. He will never chase the finish unless the fighter he's fighting is really buns. And look, his performance against Ortega would be a highlight in regards to his striking. But with Ortega literally having no business making it to the octagon, I mean, the dude literally fainted while cutting weight and was barely able to stand on the scale and, you know, make the weight. Even getting to the octagon, that was impressive in itself. So I would really count it as a good performance for Aljo. Now, Yusuf Zalal, he's on a 5-5 winning streak with 4 of those being finishes. And look, his performance against Cater was bad, but I chalk it up to him just wanting to be patient. It was his first fight in the rankings, so he didn't want to risk losing, especially to a guy like Cater who was on the bit on a downturn. So, and his striking, it's alright, it's there. He can mix it up. He's got good knees. But his grappling, in regards to jiu-jitsu, is very phenomenal. And with that, I do have Yusuf Zalal winning this, because let me start off this by saying I'm not confident in this pick. I'll be honest, I'm not confident. But with how Yusuf has been moving ever since getting back into the UFC, his grappling is great. You know, his grappling is great. And the best display of that is in his fight with Ilya. Because look, even though he got dominated by Ilya, and that was Ilya's short notice debut. That dude literally debuted like, I believe, with a 1 or 2 weeks notice, and that dude had COVID. Yeah, Ilya had COVID going into that fight. But even though he was in, like, look, in the official ESPN thing, it was like 5 sub attempts for Ilya, but there was way more than that for sure, way more than that. And Yusuf, he fought hard, man, and that was his first UFC run before he got cut and reinstated. And this just shows me that he's not gonna literally watch that fight and tell me that dude is gonna accept a bad position against Aljo, because he won't. I don't see him accepting the bad position against Aljo in this fight. I could see him pressuring Aljo and using his aggressive style to set up strikes and maybe even some takedown defense, some takedown attempts. And with that being said, I do have Yusuf winning this in the 3rd or 4th round by sub. Now, whether that'll be with that really cool armbar that he did against Josh Emmett, I don't think it's possible, but nah, I do have him winning this by a 3rd or 4th round sub. And that is all for this video. If you made this far into the video, I really appreciate it. Subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff, and I'm just praying that everybody out there is safe and happy. Do what you're happy with doing, as long as it isn't hurting anybody. And that's all I really gotta say, y'all. Peace.